Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds didn't attend the Met Gala. Were they rejected from it? I could see Anna Wintour being like, Blake, you are not coming this year. Like, there's no way.
Blake Lively just got iced out of the 2025 Met Gala, the very year she was expected to make a headline-grabbing return.
I just want to be famous.
But the only headlines now? Scandal. From blackface backlash to hijacked films and fake feminism, Blake's brand is in free fall. And even the Met Gala wants nothing to do with it.
We cannot risk you on the red carpet doing something like this. So,
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds didn't attend the 2025 Met Gala? Yeah, sure. And I skipped the Oscars because I couldn't find parking. Let's just stop pretending this was some chill, mutual decision. They didn't choose to skip it. They were shut out, rejected, uninvited, politely blacklisted.
Blake and Ryan were no-shows at the Met Gala. Now, this is an event they've been to a lot. They weren't there last year. She was editing the movie, It Ends With Us, stealing it from Justin's grasps. But now they didn't show up, and they have reasons.
Whatever helps them sleep at night. They haven't shown up since 2022 when they were co-chairs, which was basically the peak of their Met Gala clout. After that, total radio silence. Suddenly, the golden couple of Hollywood couldn't even manage a walk down a carpet. In 2024, Blake pulled the old "I have to work" excuse and claimed she was too busy editing It Ends With Us to attend.
Close to the couple says the choice to pass in this year's gala came before the lawsuit, has nothing to do with it. And for what it's worth, Blake and Ryan aren't shying away from public appearances. They just did out, we know. They've been everywhere.
Right, because post-production suddenly turns you into a hermit. Meanwhile, paparazzi caught her front and center at a Taylor Swift concert, like editing who, deadlines where. This woman ditched the biggest fashion event of the year to go scream lyrics in a stadium. So much for professionalism.
She's not a Kardashian that goes every year, is what she previously... This sounds like a lot of defense, is what I'm going to say. This sounds like what you would say if you have to justify why you weren't invited.
And yet, somehow she's still walking around wearing a feminist icon sash, like it was handed to her by Maya Angelou. You know what she did to earn it? Donated to the NAACP in 2018, after she got dragged for having a literal plantation wedding. That's not activism, it's PR damage control. And don't even get me started on the Time 100 award. Civil rights titan for donating to a black organization once, 6 years ago, after being globally roasted.
I do think that it is interesting that her Time 100 honor had to do with reportedly her donation to the NAACP a number of years ago. And we really didn't hear much about her activism on that front in her speech at the Time Gala.
If we're handing out civil rights awards for retroactive guilt donations, then great, I'd like to nominate every influencer who posted a black square in 2020. And just to be clear, this isn't a scandal. This is a PR empire falling apart in real time. Hollywood didn't cancel them overnight. They've been doing it in stages. First the roles dry up, then the red carpet invites vanish. The Met Gala just made it official. They slammed the door shut and didn't even leave a gift bag.
And this could have been an opportunity for her to talk about, activism with this at this event, but that's not what happened.
Now, let's talk about that Met Gala theme. Superfine tailoring, black style. The moment that got announced, every stylist in Hollywood knew Blake was toast. Because when your most famous fashion moment involves glorifying antebellum aesthetics and serving literal plantation core at your wedding, maybe sit this one out.
To the Met Gala was superfine tailoring, black style, the celebration of black dandyism and the influence of black style in the fashion industry.
This wasn't a night for her tone-deaf vintage cosplay. It was a night to honor black dandism, cultural elegance, and influence. Blake showing up would have been like inviting Rachel Dolezal to a Juneteenth brunch. She has never publicly apologized for that wedding. Not once. Not even a my bad on a random podcast. She just pretended it was a Pinterest moment that got out of hand. And when people tried resurfacing her SNL skit where she played a ratchet black stereotype for laughs, surprise. Copyright strikes flew faster than her spray tan application. That sketch is now like Bigfoot. blurry, barely visible, but everyone swears they saw it, and they did. Multiple people tried uploading it and got shut down. If you have to suppress comedy clips to keep your brand afloat, maybe your brand isn't as charming as you think.
This sounds like what you would say if you have to justify why you weren't invited.
And here's where it gets embarrassing. Satire accounts started circulating an AI image of Blake Lively in a dress made out of blueberries, labeled Plantation Blueberries. And people believed it, not because the image looked real, but because it felt exactly like something she would do. That's the level of tone deaf she's been operating on for so long it's not even surprising anymore. The internet didn't laugh because it was absurd. They laughed because it felt plausible. That's when you know your brand is dead on arrival.
The Blake Brown product placement, the reveal of a new product of Blake Brown, now with plantation blueberries. And of course she brought a tray of blueberry slavery muffins for everyone to have.
But of course, the real kicker is the Time 100 hypocrisy. The woman was honored as a civil rights titan for writing a check. Literally. She didn't lead marches. She didn't author legislation. She didn't even tweet anything insightful. She just slid a donation through after the plantation PR disaster and rode that all the way to an award show.
To do all that, it would have been like Ryan Reynolds promoting Black Panther after getting married in a plantation wedding, which he rightfully got called out for.
And then, in her speech, instead of acknowledging any of her missteps or the work of real activists, she derailed the whole thing by bringing up her mother's trauma. Yes, her mother's trauma. Except she twisted the story and made it sound like some generic man was the aggressor, when the original account was about a woman. Classic Blake, just slightly distort the details, center yourself, and get the applause. This isn't a one-off, it's a pattern. Blake Lively isn't a civil rights leader. She's a crisis actor playing one on red carpets. She uses trauma as a branding tool, avoids accountability like it's gluten, and expects us to cheer while she sells us overpriced sparkling water and whitewashed storylines. And don't let Ryan Reynolds off the hook either. He's the king of sarcastic marketing, but where was all that Deadpool wit when they were being rightfully dragged for that plantation wedding?
You guys knew it was a plantation. Stop pretending like you didn't know it was a plantation. And this is exactly what you do with your advertising, all your crap at times where it's not appropriate.
He just leaned into the guy next door charm and let Blake take the hits. Then turned around and started selling scrambled eggs at Tim Hortons like nothing ever happened. I mean, how hard is it to sell eggs in Canada? But no. Let's give Ryan a full campaign and praise him for innovative breakfast ideas, while the charity his wife helped destroy shuts down from legal debt.
With Ryan Reynolds to launch exciting new breakfast menu innovation in Canada and the US.
These two have built a reputation on being adorable, marketable, and just woke enough to not scare brands. But it's over now. Hollywood's catching on. The Met Gala didn't need to say it outright. The absence was the message. You're not invited. You're not the moment. You're the mess.
The speculation and the opinion that maybe they were not welcome. But ultimately, I haven't seen anything concrete to be able to fully cement that. But yeah, definitely their absence was noted.
So let's get into the part nobody in Hollywood wants to admit out loud. Blake Lively hijacked It Ends With Us like it was a Sephora brand collab she didn't like the lighting for. This was Justin Baldoni's film. His production, his vision, his original project.
Also, sad news, Justin Baldoni's foundation is shutting down.
And how does Blake thank him for trusting her with the lead role? By demanding final cut privileges and allegedly kicking him out of post-production like she owned the building. This wasn't some vague misunderstanding. Multiple insiders say she straight up took over the editing room. Baldoni didn't even get to finish the version he started. Instead, Blake took the wheel, slammed on the gas, and drove the whole thing straight into Pinterest core trauma chic.
This partnership was first teased in a video posted on Tim's social media channel in the lead up to the premiere of Deadpool and Wolverine.
And while Blake was busy whitewashing abuse for the sake of marketability, Justin Baldoni's career was imploding in silence. This wasn't just a creative fallout. This man got dropped by WME, one of the biggest talent agencies in Hollywood, while Blake was out here booking fake feminist awards and clapping for herself on Seth Meyers. His projects? Scrapped. His reputation? Derailed. The man literally went into hiding with his family in Hawaii. He didn't pull a recharge trip. He was in exile. That's how bad this got. Meanwhile, she's in Manhattan, sipping fizzy drinks and gaslighting the press like it's part of her skincare routine.
The person, what was it, the head of Time at the gala, on the red carpet, said that she was having the best year. She was having a great year. So what's the problem?
Well,
if everything's great.
The most heartbreaking part? His Wayfarer Foundation. You know, the one focused on domestic violence survivors and social impact storytelling, shut down in April 2025. Done? Gone. Gone because the legal fees were piling so high they could block out the sun. The board, including billionaire co-founder Steve Sarowitz, had to unanimously vote to sunset operations.
Like, this is a smart move. As depressing and sad as this is, hopefully they can rebuild it later when they get back on their feet, you know what I mean? But right now, shutting this down is a smart move to prove damages. It is sort of a reality check of why we're still reporting and defending Justin.
They even posted it publicly on Instagram. Can you imagine that? $33 million in grants, over a decade of impact, gone because Blake wanted creative control and didn't want anyone asking questions about her sanitized trauma portrayal. While Justin Baldoni is buried under legal bills and public silence, Blake's out here doing her "I'm just a misunderstood goddess" routine. Still posing on carpets, still pretending like the house isn't burning behind her. That's not resilience. That's delusion. She is standing in the ruins of her own brand, waving to photographers like this is just a seasonal rebrand. But the truth is, and let's say it loud, no amount of blueberry muffins, Betty Buzz cans, or PR reboots can cover up the damage, because the internet never forgets. The screenshots are saved. The video clips are backed up. The timelines are too clear to rewrite.
Well, now we are seeing the real life consequences for Justin Baldoni and Wayfair, as they are now forced to shut down their organization.
What we're watching now is the end game. This is what happens when your entire public identity is built on curated feminism, selective empathy, and photo op activism. When you edit out the truth to keep things palatable. When you monetize every experience and refuse to be held accountable. The glam has faded. The audience has left. And what's left is a woman still trying to perform her own relevance while the industry backs away slowly. Blake Lively isn't being misunderstood. She's being remembered, and not the way she hoped. Because here's the bottom line. When your edits erase real abuse, when your product placements overshadow actual survivors, when your only activism fits inside a brand collab, you're not empowering women. You're exploiting them. And when your actions cost someone like Justin Baldoni his platform, his career, and his literal ability to help people, it's not a PR hiccup. It's destruction. And you don't get to sashaying back onto a red carpet with a new hairstyle and a well-placed NAACP mention and pretend like it never happened. Not anymore. The internet sees you. Hollywood sees you. And it turns out the real you isn't that marketable after all. And if this is Blake's redemption arc, girl, it's giving season finale. Subscribe for part 4, because this meltdown isn't over yet.